The king of the Southern Short Tracks is about to hold another coronation. For the 31st straight year, the very best late model drivers in the country will compete for this crown as the winner of the World Crown 300. But to win, first they have to finish 300 of the most grueling laps in all of short track racing. It's the World Crown 300 from historic Gresham Motorsports Park, and it's next. Welcome to Gresham Motorsports Park. We're in Jefferson, Georgia for the Gresham Motorsports Park Summer Series. Tonight is the legendary World Crown 300 for super late models, presented by the Victory Junction Camps. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. NASCAR star Ken Schrader will join me topside for the call in a moment, and Lenny Batycki has our pit road coverage here tonight. They've run this legendary race for more than 30 seasons. Great names like Dick Trickle among the list of winners. Tonight, $15,000 up for grabs and plenty of prestige if you can win the World Crown 300. The field tonight's so tough that some past champions like Russell Fleeman here in the 98 could qualify no better than midfield. Russell will have a long way to go to get to the front. Some young guns will start up front. One of those is on the pole tonight. Lenny talked with him earlier.
Concord, North Carolina's Kyle Grissom starts on the pole for tonight's World Crown. Kyle, how do you take advantage of the starting spot to get all the way to the finish and the victory?
Well, luckily being out front gives us a good track position early on. The main thing is just hopefully the car is good and we can stay up there, and hopefully somewhere towards the top five and get ourselves to that first pit stop and maybe make a little adjustment if we need to. But automatically from the start, you're already trying to think about what you need to do to get better and put yourself in the right position there at the end.
Well, Ken Schrader, plenty of stars in this field tonight. A lot of drivers want to get to victory lane. Some guys that you'd think could be on the list of past winners, like Bubba Pollard, haven't yet done it. He's going to line up close to the front tonight in that Jegs 26 car.
Well, we know Bubba's always one of the guys you have to beat when you come here, but what a prestigious race. I mean, 30 seasons now. This is one of the crown jewels of the asphalt short track world.
No question about it. One of the toughest fields you'll find anywhere. Kyle Grissom, your pole sitter there with the 31. You've got Augie Grill in the 112 out of Alabama. He was so tough when we were here just a short time ago for that Sunoco 125. And Jeff's son, Harrison Burton, back in 17th spot, learning the ropes here in the World Crown 300. But it's a special night for other reasons as well. Right, Lenny Batycki?
Hey guys, little known fact, Gresham Motorsports Park was where Adam Petty got his very first ever pro start. And I'll show you something here on these race cars. Tonight, every one of them will have the Victory Junction 10-year anniversary decal. And of course, Victory Junction open to honor the memory of Adam Petty.
Very special element to tonight's World Crown 300 coverage. We'll have several onboard looks for you. We'll take a ride with the 36 car of Rodney Bentfield. That's one of our Replay XD onboard looks tonight, the Century Machine. And we'll have a look from Daniel Hemrick's 98H out the rear glass. Hemrick really tough at this racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to pick a favorite here. These cars are so closely matched that it's going to be who just can make the adjustments, like Kyle Grissom said, and be tweaking on their car as the race goes on. More than likely, we'll get plenty of chances to come down pit road.
Certainly seems that would be the case here tonight. Very challenging to go 300 laps on this high-banked and very quick half mile at Gresham Motorsports Park in Georgia. Your Sunoco Race Fuels starting lineup. We met Kyle Grissom. He is your pole starter in the 31. He'll pick the outside lane. Bubba Pollard will take the inside then in the Jegs 26. Augie Grill starts third in the 112 out of Alabama. Young Anderson Bowen in the Copper Creek Hardware Machine, the 29B, lines up fourth. Scotty Ellis goes fifth in the 83 car alongside many-time winner here, Preston Peltier. Last year's winner, in fact, of the World Crown 300. Back to row four, Brian Hoare, 8-time champion of the American Canadian Tour out of Vermont of the 37. Stephen Nasse in the 51 will line up alongside. Daniel Hemrick, we'll ride with him tonight in the 98H, and Spencer Davis in the 129 back in row number 5. Sixth row on the inside, Daniel Keene out of Florida in the 5K. Great racing family out of the Auburndale, Florida area, and Casey Roderick in car number 7. We'll be watching him tonight closely. Jeff Choquette in that Adrian Carriers 29. He's running the NASCAR Truck Series, Ken.
Oh, Jeff's got a huge resume, a lot of short track asphalt wins in his career.
Russell Fleeman in the 198 back at 15th. Alan Carnes in the 47K will line up outside in row number 8, starting in the 16th spot. There's Harrison Burton in the Dex Imaging 12. Jeff is here. Talked to him earlier. Donnie Wilson in the 2W alongside Butch Miller as Donnie Wilson's crew chief.
That's a lot of experience. Butch brings a ton. I mean, and he's been around the Truck Series, the Nationwide Series, the Cup cars. He knows everything there is about a stock car on pavement.
Will Gallagher in the 5G, Landon Kling in the 68, back in the 11th row. And the final couple of rows in our starting lineup, presented by Sunoco Racing Fuel, used around the world by more sanctioning bodies, tracks, racers, and engine builders than all other racing gasolines combined. Goodmark Chevrolet pace car heading for pit road. Bubba Pollard on the bottom of row 1. Fast qualifier Kyle Grissom on the high side. 300 laps to go, and we are underway at Gresham Motorsports Park.
And we've seen a lot of good racing here already this year, and that's when they weren't 300 laps and they weren't racing for $15,000.
A lot of prestige on the line as well. Augie Grill settling into 4th. Everybody gets away cleanly down into turn 3, and Kyle Grissom will lead him to the stripe on lap number 1. Now, Ken, these are super late models like we saw back here a month or so ago. The speeds are incredible with these cars.
Well, you know, it's the same basic car with a lot more engine. They make a lot more horsepower, hence they carry a lot more speed, which makes the handling go away quicker because they're running faster when they get to the turn.
On board with Preston Peltier, the 26, last year's winner of this race, back around 8th position. David Odell in the 75 in trouble down there at the entrance to turn number 2. Leaders stay in single file as we put the first couple of laps on the board here tonight. Odell will head to pit road back around 14th there. That is Russell Fleeman. Whoa. Trouble. Spencer Waters in the 5W goes around, gets the wall.
Well, he also collected 2 more cars there. I see the Schoenfield car in the 15. He got a little wiggle, and then he got a little behind in the steering and did not get it gathered up in time.
That beautiful Victor Ford of Richie Waters, his son Spencer, driving a hard hit to take him out of this one in the very early moments. Ron Young able to drive away, but then a Schoenfeld. The Schoenfeld headers. Looks like he's going to have a short night as well. And here comes the 36 car headed to pit road with looks like fluid trailing there. Take another look at what happened. Everybody seems to be all right, but both those cars pretty well used up. On board here with Schoenfeld. He started deep in the field. There's Waters out of shape.
Yeah, Waters in trouble here, and boy, he just ran out of places to go real quick. What a good advertisement for their header company, though.
Not the way you want to get the logo on television.
No, definitely not. But Dennis was kind of out of room there.
Ron Young in the 15 able to refire his car. Red flag will be displayed because it's going to take a while to clean this one up. Ron Young, we'll see what they can do, but that car looks like it's mostly bodywork in front.
Well, we sure assume it is because we don't see any fluid coming out from underneath the car, but at Gresham Motorsport Park, you go so fast that your bodywork's very important, and that has ruined that car aerodynamically, so it's not going to be competitive.
Everybody on the gas coming out of turn 4 there, and it led to big problems. Spencer Waters' machine is going to have to go up on the rollback to get back to the garage area. Plenty more to come in the World Crown 300. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Gresham Motorsports Park. We're in Jefferson, Georgia for the World Crown 300 presented by the Victory Junction Camps. Alongside Ken Schrader, I'm Rick Benjamin, Lenny Viticki with our coverage on pit road. They've cleaned things up on the front straightaway. Kyle Grissom will bring the field around and we'll get set to restart here in just a moment. We showed you Rodney Benfield's 36 car, Kenny. He had a different problem. It wasn't just that he had to go to pit road. Take a look at this.
Well, he's running along good here. Whoa. I think his problem was as a result of the 75 car's problem.
That was on the start, and Odell just may have missed a shift there.
Yeah, he definitely got into him, got him lifted up, and that put him a long way back, so I'm sure he was glad to see the red flag so he could maybe make some repairs to his car.
Rodney Benfield to pit road along with the 75 car. Meantime, Spencer Waters in that 5W done early here tonight at the World Crown 300. He's with Lenny.
Spencer, what happened out there?
Just on the outside there. I had no signs of being loose at all. I was actually kind of tight. I got back in the gas, and it was fine up until about where the restart line is there, and it just came back in, came around. Just, I don't know. It's just one of those deals where it's just real snappy, loose up off, I guess.
Cold tires?
Cold tires, and maybe needs to get a few more laps under his belt.
Always helpful, no question about it. Safety car back to pit road. 29 of Anderson Bowen on the bottom as they come off turn 4. Kyle Grissom, your pole sitter, who had the early lead on the high side as he chooses the outside lane. We're back underway in the World Crown 300. Bubba Pollard moving into second spot. Bowen settling into third on board with Russell Fleeman in the 198, the USA Auto Sales machine. Right in front of him is Harrison Burton there in the Dex Imaging 12.
When they're running this close and this tight, as we can see from the onboard there, you know it's going to be exciting.
It has been a wild one so far. One red flag early after just a couple of laps tonight at Gresham Motorsports Park. And the fans have packed this place for the World Crown 300. No big surprise. See Casey Roderick there in the 7, starting to make some early noise in that machine as he tries to work his way to the front. There's Peltier in the black 26. Keep an eye on that 5 of Daniel Keene from Florida as we watch the cars come through turn number 2 and head to the backside of this racetrack.
I think we see the groove actually being wider with the super lates because they don't handle as good, and you're always looking for a place to make your car work.
And with this much horsepower on tap, I mean, these motors will make, what, 750 horsepower. You've really got to be easy on the throttle here, don't you?
Oh, yeah, you have to come down. It's like you play like there's an egg underneath it. You don't want to crush the egg, because if you just gas it up in the middle, it will snap out from underneath you.
Leaders continue to be Grissom in the 31, Pollard in the 26, Augie Grill there in the 112, sitting in third, Anderson Bowen in the 29, the white car. Back there in fourth spot, he won the Sunoco 125 a month ago for the Southern Super Series Super Late models with a last lap pass. It was a great show. Top 3 continue to be the 31, the 26 there in Pollard, the Jegs.com entry, and then Grill in the 112, who was so good here a month ago for part of the race. Kenny, keeping these tires under you all night's a challenge, isn't it?
Well, it definitely is. You know you're going to come in and get tires several times, but still, you have to manage those tires. You can't just lay on them as hard as you want. Here, Bubba was up beside him there, but that's so hard to complete the pass.
Your Best Line Superior Lubricants running order, top of your screen. Keep tabs on your favorite driver. Fifth spot belongs to Flying Brian Hoare from the ACT Tour up in the Northeast. First time he's ever been here to Gresham, already into the top 5. Grissom under pressure over in turn 2. He's got Grill, Pollard, and Bowen all nipping at his heels here.
Yeah, and when Pollard was looking at the bottom there, Grill was able to roll that outside. You got a lot more room coming off the turn to let your car go up to the wall when you can use that whole racetrack, and you're not bound up like Pollard is there, having to keep the car width off the wall so he doesn't get into Grill.
Augie Grill on the outside in the 112 takes second spot away. Get on board with Augie, one of our Replay XD onboard cameras, the Alabama 200 out at Montgomery Motor Speedway, also sponsoring that onboard camera. Kyle Grissom, Steve's son, driving that 31, the HarrisonsPublicSafety.com entry. And Augie Grill sniffing the lead over in turn 3 on the backstretch. Meantime, Daniel Hemrick in that blue 98 picks up a spot to the inside of Preston Peltier.
Good smooth pass there. Was able to, that tells me maybe his car is doing exactly what he wants. Now we see Augie get loose there. That's what we saw Bubba having trouble with before, is just you need that extra 10 feet to go up there.
And like we saw a month ago in the Sunoco 125, Ken Schrader, looks like Kyle Grissom likes to run his car a car width or so off the bottom.
Well, you give those guys that black hole down there. You aim for it, but it doesn't do you any good. You can get down there and you just really have to be working good. And right now they're thinking, okay, this is early in the race. I'd like to lead, but it's not all that important. What do I have to do to my car to be able to complete this pass? And that's what I want to do on the next stop. One thing I might be able to do instead of fix my car is just hit him like he did there.
Use the chrome, or in this case the plastic horn, since there's no chrome on the nose of these race cars. Augie Grill gunning for the lead on the front straightaway, led that lap, and now gets the move put on Kyle Grissom to take over.
Yeah, that's really a pretty fair pass there. That's plenty good.
Your days in a sprint car, that's what they call a slide job, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Usually in a slide job, you actually clear them. You don't run into them.
Well, sometimes you have to, give yourself a little extra margin there.
Right.
So it's the 112 of Grill out in front now here at Gresham Motorsports Park. Early laps of this World Crown 300. Fans packed this place for a great show tonight. All the spectator tailgate area entirely around the racetrack except for the front straightaway. More than full. Garage area full tonight. Lots of seats occupied on the front side grandstands. Great night of racing here at Gresham Motorsports Park. Looking on in the 112 pits. That's Augie Grill's pit box there. And Frankie taking a look down at the action here at Gresham Motorsports Park. Scotty Ellis in the 83 trying to make some hay. Qualified in the top 6 tonight. Slipped back off the drop of the green. Now starting to march his way up through the field. There's the 7 of Casey Roderick. Keep an eye on that young man. Good ride this season. He struggled to find a good ride the last couple of years. This is 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th out of turn 4.
It's so hard to put a good operation together because you have to be able to put together the equipment, the personnel, and the funding. So you don't just get out there easy.
No question about that. On board with Spencer Davis in the 129. Rodney Benfield back on the racetrack in the 36. We saw Ron Young a moment ago. Want to give him a shout as well. Got into trouble in that lap 3 skirmish out of turn 4 that produced the red flag. They've taken that bodywork off so it runs okay, and he's out making laps.
Well, his plan is right now that hopefully everyone else gets in a skirmish too, and he can wind up with some kind of decent finish.
Could happen. You never know. We've got a long way to go tonight here at Gresham Motorsports Park. Meantime, Augie Grill enjoying clean racetrack, which is always an advantage. He stretched it out to half a dozen car lengths over Anderson Bowen.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we hear talks and talks all the time about clean air, clean air. Well, it makes a difference in these cars in a place like this.
Meantime, this battle is for fifth. Scotty Ellis on the black car, the 83 on the bottom. That's Brian Hoare. We've talked about him in the 37 all the way from Vermont to come down and run tonight at the World Crown 300. He said, hey, I've won a lot of championships. This race has always been on my bucket list. Never been here before. No place like it in the Northeast. He wanted to try his luck here, and he qualified very well. Very smooth out there tonight.
They have up in the Northeast, they have a lot of good asphalt racers, and they run these type cars a lot up there.
Out in front, it's still Grill in the 112. Bowen in the 29 in second spot. We talked about tires and about pit strategy here tonight. 300 laps, live pit stops. We don't normally have that here at Gresham Motorsports Park, and it's a 12-tire race. You've got 2 more sets of Hoosier tires in your pit box to use at your discretion over the course of the night.
Well, ideally, you'd like to take a set around lap 100 and a set around lap 200, you know, to break it up. But then your thinking is, okay, if everyone's going to take their set at lap 200 and there's not a lot of cars left on the lead lap, maybe if I could get mine at 230 or something like that, and if the tires make enough difference, if they fall off enough, I'll have the advantage. So we'll have to see how the yellows fall and how much the tires and the lap times actually change here.
Casey Roderick battling for position there with the 2 car as they fight it out over in turn 3. The red machine of Roderick, the 7. The 2 car right alongside him. That's the car of Donnie Wilson, the 2W, with the veteran Butch Miller calling the shots on pit road. Hemrick, meantime, on the inside of Spencer Davis in the 129, fighting for position down in turn 1. That's 7th and 8th up for grabs, and they continue to battle as they come up onto the backstretch. Hemrick was so strong here the last time we were at Gresham Motorsports Park. 2nd place finish in the Sunoco 125. How about tonight, Lenny?
This time he's back with a vengeance, and the vengeance is an RCR and Stuart Haas-based pit crew. He's got Dylan Smith up on the front to change the tire. Jared Meyerberg, the tire carrier. Darrell Edwards, the jackman. J.D. Latham and Paul Swain will be doing the work on the rear. Henrik is here to get it done.
Well, Ken Schrader, when you bring in guys from a full-time professional race team, that shows you're taking this one very seriously.
Oh, most definitely. You know, we're in with a group of cars that don't always have live pit stops, so that's a huge stack in the deck there. And boy, that's more power to them. That's what you need to do.
Hemrick now clearing Hoare in the 37, picking up another couple of positions here as he tries to advance into the top 5. Daniel Hemrick telling me a couple of times in the last couple of months is that this is the race they have focused on. This is one they want more than anything else. Caution waving. Caution on the speedway as we approach lap 40. It looks like Alan Carnes, the 47K, with problems. It looks like a motor that's not going to see the end.
Oh, I would most definitely say so. An engine or an oil line, something like that. But, well, I see the left rear tire hanging out, which tells me it broke a track bar or something, because there was a lot of smoke coming out of the back of the car, too. So that's not supposed to be like that.
On board here with Dalton Grindle, our Replay XD on board. Take a look ahead of you there.
Yeah, I think it broke a track bar mount, and that was the frame rail over against the right rear tire.
And a rubbed tire certainly will produce that kind of smoke.
Well, and also you cannot steer that car when the rear end is steering itself.
Here's what they're gunning for tonight at Gresham Motorsports Park. Everyone wants the World Crown Trophy. We'll be right back. Back at Gresham Motorsports Park, Jefferson, Georgia, the World Crown 300 presented by Victory Junction Camps, and Ken Schrader off in the distance. Some lightning. That's got crew chiefs thinking about this one, I think.
Well, now is this going to be a 150-lap race, or are we looking at the whole thing?
The West Virginia Miners 7 on pit road. That's Casey Roderick's machine. Let's get an update downstairs. Here's Lenny.
Teams racing at a World Crown have 3 sets of tires. One they've already ran in practice, one that's on the car, and one that is the most precious set of all. How they use it, whether they go with 4 or just 2, as the race plays out, that's the crew chief's job to tell the team to service the driver.
And if we are rain shortened for some reason, your tire strategy could go right out the window.
That's why those crew chiefs make all that big money. They you know, that's not an easy job sitting on top of that box, and they get blamed for everything anyway.
Is that what Richardson tells you all the time?
Oh yeah. Donnie does a good job. I don't want to sit in that box.
Up front, battling among the top 5 cars. Daniel Hemrick has gotten to the top 5 now, and looks like in the 98 car. Everybody chasing Augie Grill in the 112. Good fighting for position behind him. Man, this looks like a jailbreak back there.
It most definitely does. All you need is that everyone to see that lightning, oh, we gotta step up our game now, because we can't be riding around in 12th and only have 80 laps. We got to go now.
Everybody's got to pay close attention to perhaps changing weather conditions. No question about it. Grill is still the leader in the 112. Bowen in the 29 right on his back bumper. You've got Kyle Grissom, the pole sitter. Bubba Pollard, who lined up in second spot, and now Hemrick up into fifth.
Yeah, I guarantee it. They saw the lightning, and it's time to go. But one thing I'm really impressed about, and I'm just looking at that crowd, I guess it's the promoter part in me, but we had that many people come out knowing that it was raining around in the area, or a good chance of it. That really is big.
No doubt about it. Great crowd on hand here tonight. And fans know not only is this the crown jewel event at Gresham Motorsports Park, it's one of the big 4 super late model races in the country. One of these trophies, a World Crown Trophy, really something to be proud of if you race stock cars on short tracks. Your Best Line Superior Lubricants running order as we put 50 laps on the board. Top drivers, top of your screen. Davis in 6th, Ellis in 7th, 4 back to 8th. Donnie Wilson up to 9th now. Your top 2, the 112 of Grill, and this young man, Anderson Bowen, in that Copper Creek Hardware 29B.
He's right there. You notice he's content to ride right now. He's looking a little bit, but he's not pushing the issue.
Roderick in 13th, Keene in 14th, Harrison Burton steady back there in 15th, Landon Kling is 16th, as you see your favorite drivers and where they sit after not even a quarter of this one tonight. Hemrick trying to get to the inside of the 26 of Bubba Pollard, right behind pole sitter Kyle Grissom in the 31, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in play. 2 leaders starting to gap this group a little bit. Top 2 cars look like they've got a lot of speed.
Well, they've got a lot of speed, but also if you're in this group, and like say Kyle leading this group, we don't have to go yet, because it's only a little over 50 laps, and we've got plenty of time. We know there's going to be another yellow. We know we're going to have to come in and get tires. We don't have to go yet.
Battle for the lead, though. Grill in the 112, Bowen in the 29, still nose to tail. Now, Augie Grill, last time we were here, had a very fast race car, dominant race car, wasn't able to keep the car handling properly for the full 125 laps. You wonder if he learned much from that outing a month ago.
Oh, I guarantee you learn, because even though this race is that much longer, 300 laps, you're going to get to come in and make some adjustments. Hopefully they built the adjustability into their car, that it's stuff that they can change on a pit stop, whether it's tire stagger, spring rubber, or something like that, and make their car better for the end of the race.
Grill in the 112, Bowen in that Ford, the 29, top 2 cars, and they've opened up almost a full straightaway now on Kyle Grissom sitting 3rd. Crews and crew chiefs watching things here at Gresham Motorsports Park. More to come in the World Crown 300. Welcome back to Gresham Motorsports Park, Jefferson, Georgia, covered to the World Crown 300, presented by Victory Junction Camps. I'm Rick Benjamin. NASCAR star Ken Schrader is alongside Lenny Baticki with our coverage on pit road. Let's get on board the Replay XD onboard look here. Anderson Bowen running 2nd. And Bowen, with that win a month ago, that had to help his confidence here a whole lot.
Oh, anytime, your team's running good, you click off a couple wins or a couple good finishes, it just gives you the confidence going into these races. You know you can do it.
Donnie Wilson there in the 2W. Butch Miller, his crew chief on the inside. Spencer Davis in the 129. Really a youngster. Again, we've talked about how young some of these drivers are. Spencer Davis in that crop of teenagers. Here comes Brian Hoare, who's been doing this an awfully long time up in the northeastern United States, as they fight for position and trying to stay in the top 10 and keep the leaders in sight here at Gresham.
We've seen that groove. Not that they're all the way up there now, but that track's got more rubber on it up higher than normal. These cars we see them moving around there, but these cars just are harder to keep on the bottom because of the extra horsepower.
We told you earlier that tonight's World Crown 300 is being presented by Victory Junction. Victory Junction's mission is that every child, no matter their illness or disability, should enjoy some normal childhood experiences. Learn more about Victory Junction or donate, go to victoryjunction.org or call 1-877-VJ4-CAMP, VJ4-CAMP. We're thrilled to have Victory Junction Camps part of this year's World Crown 300. On board with Preston Peltier, fighting there with Brian Hoare on the bottom of the 37 car. Peltier won this race a year ago, but he's been far from dominant tonight.
No, he's got his hands full tonight, but like I say, we're off early into this race, and it's up higher in the racetrack, though.
Donnie Wilson in the 2W trying to fight his way. Oh, a little roughing up there on Spencer Davis in the 129.
Well, he got right up on him, took his air off his spoiler, and then hit him.
That's two for the price of one.
Right, 2 for the price of 1. But it doubles your chances of getting by.
And he did. He was able to make that work, no doubt about it. Down the front straightaway here at Gresham, over in turn 2 now. Great field of super late models, as you would expect in the World Crown 300. As Ken mentioned earlier, $15,000 the winner's purse tonight, and that beautiful World Crown 300 trophy that everyone wants to take home to their race shop. There's Peltier. He's gotten around Brian Hoare for position. Wilson in the 2W and Davis in the 129. That has been a dogfight just about the entire night so far.
Well, they're running hard, and they're using up their stuff a lot right now, but you know, you don't know. It might really be important right now because we could be over half the race if it was to get shortened by rain at midway or something.
Your Best Line Superior Lubricants running order, top of your screen. Best Line, the ultimate in home, auto, marine, and industrial protection and performance. This fight again, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th back there as well. Donnie Wilson trying to pick his way to the front of this group, shown 8th last time by, trying to get by Davis and pick up another position here.
Yeah, well, he's trying to go forward, but we also see Peltier there running a whole different groove. He's going up, letting the car get higher in the center. He did down 1 and 2 especially, and then got a good run off. That's something that we don't see as much on some of the asphalt racing where they search around quite that much.
Peltier's a veteran. He's been doing this a long time. Of course, knows this place, won this race a year ago. Grill is your leader. Ken, if you're racing here tonight with 300 laps to work on, would you try some different lines and see if you could find a place that was a little better?
I'd be looking in my mirror and trying to keep that second place car back there and be as easy on my tires as I could.
Donnie Wilson in the 2W right in front of Peltier. Again, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th in place. Stephen Nasse has joined this group in that red and white 51. We got a glimpse of him a moment ago. He's back there in 11th spot right now. But Spencer Davis running 6th in the 129. This group of cars, maybe they're fighting a little too hard too early. They're having trouble staying with the leaders here.
Well, they are. And you know, you're always just racing the leader as far as time-wise. You don't want to give up the gap to the leader. You don't want to get farther behind him. But it's hard not to race these other cars. Like right now, if they let the 2-car go, they might be able to fall back in line and run down the leader just a little bit. This is costing them time. It's costing them track position.
Spencer Davis with his hands full, trying to keep Donnie Wilson back there. 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th in play. And now they look 3 wide for a moment as Peltier thinks about going high.
We see that 2-car Donnie Wilson there. We see his front brake rotors are got more color to them. He's using the front brakes more than some of the other cars are showing. So we don't know if that's something that could come back and haunt him later or not.
As high as the speeds are here at Gresham, would you want that much front brake in your car?
Well, front to rear brake proportion really affects how tight or loose the car is on entrance. So you also use it as a tool to adjust your chassis.
Or alongside Peltier in the 26. That's a fight for 9th position. All of this battling has allowed Stephen Nasse to come close in the 51 to this group. And he may join the fun here momentarily as we see more lightning flickering outside the racetrack here at Gresham.
Yeah, these guys are really running hard and close.
No change in this group. It's still Spencer Davis heading this group of 5 cars now. About a half a lap behind the race leader, who continues to be Augie Grill in that 112. 2nd spot belongs to Anderson Bowen. Now here's Brian Hoare in the 37, the red and yellow machine. Taking a look to the inside of Peltier's black race car. Nasse in the 51 says, okay, I'll take that opportunity to close in a little further.
But the whole time they're doing this, Grill is just driving away and getting farther away.
Augie Grill has been dominant here. Kyle Grissom in the 31, your pole sitter, settling in 3rd position. Letting Augie Grill have the lead and rack up laps led here tonight in the World Crown 300. Not even close to halfway. Plenty more to come at Gresham. Back at Gresham Motorsports Park in Jefferson, Georgia. Glad to have you with us for the World Crown 300 presented by Victory Junction. A good group of drivers there, all past winners of the World Crown 300.
It's a pretty special race. A lot of history, and man, you know, it felt really good to win it, especially that was the first race back after some injuries that I sustained, you know, in a fall at my house. So it was a pretty big deal to us.
By far the biggest win I ever had was driving for Hogan Lumber Company back then out of Cleveland, Georgia. We had finished racing the season at Lanier and decided to come here and run the World Crown then. And it was a heck of a race, 300 lapper, and wound up winning it at the end.
To be in the same category as like Dale Washoe and Dick Trickle and all those guys who have moved on up to Cup level, you know, it just means a lot.
To win them back-to-back, how special was that event?
It helped a lot, you know, just to show that you could do it again, not just once, but twice. And that really opened up a lot of eyes and avenues for us to actually get more sponsors and even rides and race cars and stuff to help us and pursue our racing career.
In 2008, when we won that World Crown, you know, we thought we had a real good car and had a flat about halfway through the race, and we thought it was over for us, but we come back from a lap down to win that thing. That was a big accomplishment for the team and everybody. It gave us a boost to the crowd to go through the next race. So it was something big.
Ken Schrader, I know this is a race that you have not yet won, but how special is it to win one of these legendary late model events?
Oh, well, I don't know, because
you won hundreds of races. Come on now.
But I talked to those guys, and you know, this would be a bucket list race. I mean, to win that is huge. Just one of the crown jewels of the Asphalt Series.
And you also saw Freddie Query, one of the all-time greats in late models. Bobby Gill out of Dalton, Georgia, multi-time Pro Cup champion, won this race in the past. One of the great late model racers as well. Great to have them all here with us tonight. Meantime, one of the big concerns for crew chiefs along pit road continues to be what's going to happen with the weather. Here's Lenny.
Guys, teams aren't worried about fuel. They can get past halfway. They're going to have to burn the tires down with the potential for weather coming any moment.
We have looked and looked and looked this summer when we've been at some short track races at that weather, and looked at the phones and looked at the iPads and everything. And the biggest thing we've been able to tell so far is when the iPad was getting wet, because that radar will mess with you huge.
Well, there's a little delay in it. It's not like it's instantaneous. I mean, I used to tell our meteorologist all the times I was doing news at local television stations around the country, I'd say, hey, open the window and take a look before you tell us anything.
Right.
Always a good play. Leader is Augie Grill in the 112. He's been dominant here so far as we get past the 100 lap mark tonight in the World Crown 300 here at Gresham Motorsports Park, Jefferson, Georgia. Grill has been super fast, but you know, I just have this thought in the back of my mind, Ken Schrader, that if you're that fast and you're waxing the field, maybe you don't want to be using up your stuff that much.
Well, he knows he's going to come in and get new tires anyway, but you can visually see that how much higher he's running, and you can visually see that the cars are going slower in the middle of the turns. They have just slowed down. These super late models have used their tires harder. They're harder on the brakes. They're harder on everything, and they're just more of a handful.
Donnie Wilson there in the red and white 2W. Brian Hoare alongside Stephen Nasse back there as well. This is 9th, 10th, 11th in play now. Spencer Davis has started to pull away a little bit along with Preston Peltier. Jeff Choquette in the 29. We thought he would be a factor tonight in the Adrian Carrier's machine, but so far not so much. Although a guy like Choquette who's been doing this a long time with a lot of success, probably looking at that lap board thinking, hey, I don't need to really get going until there's 100 to go.
Well, and he's probably definitely thinking that right until the lap board gets real bright because of the lightning, and then it is time to go. So you're going through. You got a range of emotions sitting inside the car or on the pit box. But we can see all of them. They have their hands full exiting turn and sometimes getting in a turn.
Brian Hoare in the 37, Donnie Wilson in the 2W, rubbing fenders, scooting up the racetrack. That lets Stephen Nasse get by it. How about this? Frankie Grill's son, Augie, the race leader in the 112, able to come up and lap some of these cars that are in the top 10 already. Wow, that 112 is fast tonight.
He is, but that is also, he was able to gain a lot of that time on them, come around and get in that position lap because they were racing each other so hard earlier.
One more look at what happened just a moment ago as Grill gets by these cars that are in the top 10. Take a look at the contact here. Hoare in the 37, Wilson in the 2W. This is down in turn 1.
Yeah, they just run into one another. The two car came down a little bit. Hoare got loose trying to stay off him, and they just got together and opened up the door for the 51 and saved Grill a lot of time passing those guys.
Man, putting those cars a lap down, now you've only got 10 cars or so on the lead lap. Not quite to halfway tonight here at Gresham Motorsports Park. That does give Augie Grill something to play with in terms of margin. Anderson Bowen still in second spot. He's trying to work his way through these cars as well.
Yes, I mean, he doesn't want to lose contact with Grill. But one thing that we do know, as these tires get worn, and we saw it there with the contact, the cars start losing grip And now's about a good time for some yellows to start.
We'll see. It's been pretty quiet here so far, other than that early red flag with the contact up in turn 4, sending Spencer Waters in the 5W, Dennis Schoenfeld in the 43 behind the wall earlier tonight. Ron Young still out there in the 15 car, still making laps. Haven't seen him in a while, but Young still circulating at the back of the field. Lost about 40 laps as the team made repairs to the nose of that car, took the body work off, straightened everything out up there, made it so that it was safe for Young to bring the 15 back onto the racetrack. Dalton Grindle in the 23 going a lap down. There's Davis in the 129. Russell Fleeman in the 198 going to the bottom, giving room for Grill to go by on the high side. He'll put Fleeman a lap down. Fleeman, as we heard a moment ago, former winner of this race. He's going to be frustrated as we see the Best Line Superior Lubricants running order again, top of your screen. If you want more horsepower, ultimate protection, maximum fuel economy, try Best Line Superior Lubricants.
Well, Fleeman's, maybe he's thinking right now that when he won this race before, he was a lap down about halfway. So maybe he's not in that much trouble, but it looks like he is right now.
Well, if you're chasing Augie Grill in the 112, it's got to be frustrating to see him just drive away like that. For Grill, I think it's a question of, can he keep that car keeping that pace the rest of the night here? Or does the situation get away from him here at some point in the course of the next couple of hundred laps?
Well, that's what we don't know yet. And that's why we're going to sit here and watch this race the whole time and won't know until the end what's going to happen. But it just makes things change so much in the course of 300 laps. What your car does on a short run, even though this hasn't been a short run, this is pretty long green here, can change so much from the end of the race. Plus the track conditions, with that threatening weather, the track's cooling off and that, it's going to change everything again.
Russell Fleeman almost sounds as though he's dropped a cylinder there, the 198. He is off the pace significantly.
Yeah, he moved up the racetrack when he got lapped and made that turn, so he must be like down a cylinder, and that's keeping him from going down the straightaway and making any lap times.
Augie Grill now about to put the 129 of Spencer Davis a lap down. Now Davis was up around 7th position just a few moments ago. So Augie Grill really laying down some rapid laps here at Gresham Motorsports Park in Jefferson, Georgia, the home of the World Crown 300. Glad to have you with us. We've been bringing you these Gresham Motorsports Park Super Summer Series late model events for the last couple of months. Been a lot of fun to do this. We've got one more telecast coming up for you. We'll be here in the month of September for the PPG Paints 100. That's a pro late model race. We look forward to bringing that to you as well on the network you're enjoying right now here this evening. Grill in the 112 all by himself onto the backstretch once again. Enjoying that clean air. Probably plotting his tire strategy at this point. Hasn't yet come to pit road. Meantime, here's Wilson trying to hold off Brian Hoare for 10th. And how about this? Kyle Grissom running third. He's about to lap these cars.
Yeah, I mean, top 3 have moved right around here. And
oh, trouble. Donnie Wilson in the 2W maybe got a little help there. Up into the wall. A violent hit with the rear end of that race car. And the caution flies here tonight at Gresham.
He definitely got a little help, but I don't think it was intended help.
Man, he used up that race car a ton. So the Butch Miller-led team, Donnie Wilson driving that automobile, moving around inside the cockpit. Looks like he's fine. This may give everybody on the lead lap at least an opportunity to come to pit road for the first time tonight. Let's take a look at what happened here with the 37 and the 2W.
Well,
yeah.
A little bit before the 2-car Wilson cut down a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong, but when someone's on your left rear, you can only do that so many times.
Might have been a case of taking the air off the spoiler more than anything else.
Yeah, when he hit him too, it really affected him. Yeah, but now remember, we're going to have a lucky dog here.
Yes, we are. First car lap down. We'll get that lap back. Now the 112 of Grill, the 29 of Bowen. Lead lap cars. Kyle Grissom, they will make their first stops of the night and find out whether they're going to take 2 tires. Would you want 4 here?
I would probably take 4.
Since you've got a caution.
This could be your last stop because of weather. We don't know that, and we went past the 100 lap mark.
So Grill, Bowen, and Grissom on pit road. Lenny, how do they play it?
Augie Grill comes down to a nice stop. His blue-collar pit crew goes to work. His dad, Frank Grill, on the catch can right now. They're working on the right sides. 5 off, trying to get 5 back on. 2 of the Hoosiers already there. Now they're getting the lug nuts of the next one. Well, in front, there's Bubba Pollard's crew already around to the left side. They're waiting on the Jackman. Up goes the 26 car now. Pollard patient. The crew desperate to get the rear on. A little slow there. Grill's down. Augie Grill, you can see the car boiling though. Steam coming out of it. Grill will follow Pollard out.
So Augie Grill gives up the lead on pit road. That was not there was a clean stop, Ken Schrader, but it was not a fast stop.
No, not extremely fast, but I did notice that, you know, they had a set of practice tires on and a set of stickers, and they elected to put on their set of stickers.
And that could be key for Augie Grill's opportunity here in the World Crown 300. Welcome back to the World Crown 300, presented by Victory Junction. We're at Gresham Motorsports Park in Jefferson, Georgia. Super late model action, part of the Southern Super Series. Taking a look back from the Goodmark Chevrolet safety car, our Replay XD onboard look. Anderson Bowen in the 29 is the restart leader. He elects the high side. Bubba Pollard there in the Jegs.com Ford, the 26 alongside. Augie Grill will have to restart back in third, Ken Schrader. They were not quick on pit road.
Well, they weren't quick, but they weren't bad. They didn't have any big problems. And he had a dominant car for the first part of the race, and he's restarting third. So I don't think he's in trouble yet.
We'll see what happens. Safety car from Goodmark Chevrolet dives from pit road. Scotty Ellis will restart in fourth. Kyle Grissom restarts in fifth. Preston Peltier alongside in sixth. Then Hemrick, he'll line up seventh. All those cars on the lead lap. Safety car is in. Green flag is in the air. Glad to have you with us again at Gresham. The World Crown 300 back under green, and Bowen takes over down into turn one.
The 83 car got a bad restart.
Yes, he did.
There, and we saw 3 wide there off of turn 2 with just a little bump, but it was time to go.
And here comes Augie Grill in the 112. As you said, Ken Schrader restarting third. Not a bad situation for a fast race car. Right by Pollard, and he's got his sights set on the race leader.
Yeah, and we see sparks coming out of some of these cars now. We saw it at the initial start of the race, and then we saw them go away, but that's just because of the low air pressure. The cars are running a little bit lower, stuff's dragging for a little bit, but it'll build up and the sparks will go away quick.
Leaders took 4 tires. Everybody taking some fuel, some Sunoco race fuel as well. As we get close to halfway, should be more than enough to get you home on fuel tonight. Should be enough from fuel,
But you're going to want those tires if you get the yellow. If you don't get the yellow, you're not going to come in and get them, because you'd never overcome that deficit.
Don't want to give up the track position.
No, but as long as you got enough fuel, you're okay.
Back behind the leaders, Kyle Grissom in the 31. The 26 is Peltier. Hemrick in the 98, passing both of those cars to move to fourth now. Daniel Hemrick, we told you at the top of the broadcast, this is a very important race for him. He said, this is one I've always wanted to win. Meantime, Grill trying to take the lead back from Bowen, hasn't been able to do it yet.
He hasn't been able to yet, but he's in there. This is his best opportunity when his tires are fresh. Even though everyone's got fresh tires, he can maybe lean on his a little bit harder and get it done, knowing he's already got a faster car. Now he gets that fender up there, and that gives him the opportunity to go ahead and clear him.
And he's been about the only car that's been able to make an inside move work. Let's get on board with Anderson Bowen, take a look at how things look as he tries to retake the point here from Grill.
Augie Grill is reporting the car is overheating. His team is actually praying for rain right now.
Wow, now we saw steam coming out of the overflow hose back by the windshield when they were on pit road.
Well, also when you're going on pit road and you don't have any mile an hour, you don't get the air through the radiator like you need to. So sometimes they will cool back down under green flag conditions.
Typically in these super late models, it's a closed nose. You've got a little bit of air intake down on the splitter down on the bottom. Sometimes guys are taping a lot of that off. It's very hot here today. It's middle of the summer. A hot and muggy night here at Jefferson, Georgia.
Yeah, they definitely, the outside temperature really affects how they run, but it's just got a little bit of a heat issue, and he's hoping it calms down.
Your midway running order, top of your screen, being brought to you by our friends at Racing Radios. Racing Radios, the first and still the best in two-way communications equipment for the racing industry worldwide, with 150 laps on the board. Anderson Bowen out in front, under pressure from Augie Grill. Jeff Choquette there in 9th. Casey Roderick up into 10th. Brian Hoare back to 11th. Harrison Burton sits 12th. As we watch the 31 of Grissom and the 29 of Choquette fight it out for position. Trying hard to stay on the lead lap. Will Gallagher back in 14th. He restarted 8th, but has slipped back since then. Russell Fleeman has been hanging on for dear life. We mentioned earlier, we were on his onboard camera. It sounded as though they might have dropped a cylinder in the 198. Hemrick, meantime, slips up the racetrack, and Peltier, last year's winner of the World Crown 300, goes by on the bottom.
These top 7 or 8 cars, other than Grill right now, who's showing that he is a little bit superior, but the cars in general are all so close, and that's why that feedback between the driver and the crew chief is so critical, because you're just looking for that little adjustment that makes your car better than everybody else's.
Everybody trying to find the right combination that will give them the opportunity to close in on the 29 of Bowen and on the 112 of Augie Grill. This is for fourth meantime. Peltier and Hemrick fighting. There's Ron Young in the 15. We talked about him earlier. They did a nice job taking the fenders and the nose and the hood off that car. He's just out there making laps, not on leader's pace, but he's managing to kind of be in the show here tonight. Good for him.
He's in the show, and he's also terribly aggravated thinking about the initial start of that race and what could have been.
If you're familiar with the name Ron Young, a guy who has not grabbed a lot of racing headlines in recent years, but a former All-Pro Series champion in late model racing back in the 80s and 90s, one of the toughest late model leagues anywhere in the country. There's Augie Grill in the 112, getting by Anderson Bowen, driving away from him once again. So this one, as we move into the second half of this race now, Ken Schrader, we're official. No more worries about the weather. Now it's a question of making sure you're in position to challenge for the lead if we do get weather, or if you can get to that 300 lap mark.
Yeah, well, when you were at lap 75, you were thinking, okay, once we get to 150, that could be the end. You know, anytime after that, now that we're past it, you know, before you were thinking we have to get there. Now it's like, hey, it could start raining the next lap, and this thing's over. So it's a different mindset.
Daniel Hemrick with one of our Replay XD onboard looks, looking back at Preston Peltier. These two have been swapping this top 4 position here the last several laps. Hemrick will take it. He'll go high. Peltier will have the opportunity to sneak on the inside. These two cars are very evenly matched.
Very evenly matched, and that's what's so nice about the Gresham track here is it's wide enough that you can race on it really good. I mean, that's one of the widest grooves we'll see in short track asphalt racing.
Fourth and fifth in play between Hemrick and the 98, Peltier in the 26. Both of them race out of the Charlotte, North Carolina area. And meantime, the Grill machine, Augie Grill in the 112. The Dubs thermal cooling entry, no problem at all so far tonight. Didn't qualify on the pole, but he has been lightning quick since the drop of the green. Has been the dominant car by far. Other than the first couple of laps, he has led just about all the way tonight in the World Crown 300.
Well, we haven't heard any more about his heating issue, and we don't see any steam coming out of the overflow or spitting any water. So hopefully for him, he's got that calmed down and under control. Not that he could do anything about it, but it fixed itself just with the mile an hour and the speed, the airspeed.
Bowen in the 29, the Copper Creek Hardware entry, the Jegs.com Ford, meantime, a Bubba Pollard, outside pole starter. They're running second and third, and they're about a quarter of a track behind the race leader over in turn 2.
Saw some sparks out of Pollard's car the lap before there. Don't know if he's fighting. So, whoa, we got a problem right there, though.
Sure looks like it. Big smoke in turn 4. Russell Fleeman in the U.S. Auto Sales 198 has gone around. Don't know if he got the wall or not. We talked earlier about how Fleeman had problems, and we were theorizing he might have dropped a cylinder. Ron Young okay and not involved in this, but Fleeman has spun in the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, we don't know if he had contact with another car or what. It doesn't make any difference. He got turned around and the yellow's out. And fortunately, if he does have an engine problem, that's still the only problem he's got because the car is fine.
Looks that way. May have flat spotted the tires. We'll find out if Fleeman brings that car down onto pit road. A little bit off the pace tonight for the former winner of the World Crown 300. One of the great late model veterans from the state of Georgia. Goodmark Chevrolet pace car, that beautiful Chevrolet Camaro Z28 out on the racetrack right now. Looks like Bowen and Jeff Choquette will elect to come to pit road. Ken Schrader, pit road open. Not a lot of takers this time around.
No, it has not been that many laps since we took our first set. So it seems a little early for me to get the second set unless you're coming in for an adjustment.
So Bowen in the 29, Jeff Choquette in the black and silver 29, and Spencer Davis will come to pit road, and we'll see what strategy they employ. How about it, Lenny?
The 29 in, going around to the right side of the car, while the 29 of Anderson Bowen is further up pit road. This Florida-based team comes back around to the left side, going to put 4 Hoosier tires on, pack it full of gas, and see if they can make it all the way to the finish. This car was fast in a couple of rounds of practice. Can they make it fast for the second half of tonight's race?
So sticker tires on Choquette's car. Bowen taken 4. I'm thinking, Kenny, they didn't stop the first time around.
They must not have, because otherwise there would be no sense coming in and using up your second set of tires now. And they put stickers on their car also.
So Choquette is down and away. Bowen is down and away. Spencer Davis down and away as well, as we're under caution. World Crown 300 presented by Victory Junction. We'll be right back. Welcome Back to Gresham Motorsports Park, Jefferson, Georgia. Crew of Casey Roderick, the 7 team, the West Virginia Miners entry. They're going to work under that race car, changing more than just tires.
Looks like they're making shock adjustments. He's doing some sweeps on the shock there, so or they might have been putting a rubber in. I do not know. It's hard. Oh, they were putting rubbers in. You can see them there. So that's going to make that car tighter. They're putting rubbers in the left rear.
So Casey Roderick, a young veteran of this sport, team electing to try to help the handling of this race car before we go green once again. Roderick's been competitive, but not nearly as fast as Augie Grill.
Well, no one's been as fast as Augie Grill, though. But they had the opportunity here to make an adjustment, and they're looking down the road. They've got plenty of laps left.
More than 100 to go here tonight in the World Crown 300. Goodmark Chevrolet pace car back to pit road. Pollard in the 26 on the bottom. Grill in the 112. The leader electing the top side for this restart. Hemrick will restart third. Peltier is fourth. Kyle Grissom, Scotty Ellis back up to sixth. Anderson Bowen has to restart back in seventh. Green flag is back in the air at Gresham.
The have to go factor is just getting a little bit increasing all the time. I mean, it's we're running out of laps. Whoa!
Oh, total contact. Bowen and Scotty Ellis get together. Big mess up in turn 3. Will Gallagher is involved. Harrison Burton gets through, as does Roderick. Daniel Keene in the 5K up in the outside wall. Heavy damage to Gallagher, the Richie Waters 5G, and the 29 car of Anderson Bowen. There's the Keene Services 5K of Daniel Keene, the young veteran out of Florida. He's able to get the car refired to bring it to pit road, see what the damage is and whether they can continue. Will Gallagher there in the black 5 able to refire as well. Bowen, who led laps earlier tonight, not so much. I'm not sure about the 29.
No, it's hard to tell here. And we got some water leakage here too. I don't believe that's just from overflow right there.
Safety officials talking to Anderson Bowen. Here's one more look. Bowen in the white car on the bottom. Oh, looked like Ellis turned down.
Yeah, it sure did. Very lucky not to catch the end of pit road, end of the pit wall right there. The 7 car was just in the pits. Lucky that he got through that with looks like minimal damage.
One more look at it as the leaders arrow into 3. There's the contact between Ellis, Bowen, Gallagher. Looked like Roderick went up over the 29 in the 7, and then Keene had nowhere to go. Slides up into the wall. Brian Hoare from Williston, Vermont. We've talked a lot about him in the RPM Engines 37. He's on pit road. They're working on Roderick's car. It's the right front corner.
Yeah, they're checking the toe end. They got tape measures out there checking toe end because he definitely adjusted the front end some.
Meantime, Donnie Wilson's team still trying to fix the 2W and get him back on the racetrack. All right, welcome back to the World Crown 300, presented by Victory Junction Camps. Alongside Ken Schrader, I'm Rick Benjamin. Lenny Baticki with our coverage on pit road. Full house of fans to enjoy one of the great late model races across the USA. The 31st annual World Crown 300. Leader is Augie Grill in that red 112 out of Alabama on the high side of row 1. Bottom of the racetrack, the 26 of Bubba Pollard, the Jakes.com entry. Hemrick is third, Peltier, and Kyle Grissom are next in line, and we are back underway.
Well, Grill got the restart that time. I mean, last time they were almost side by side at the lead, and this time, or at the line, and this time he was gone.
Battling for position behind the 112. Here comes Jeff Choquette in the 29 car. He pitted just moments ago. He's got fresh rubber on that race car. So if Choquette has anything for the front runners, we got to find out now.
Well, we're going to find out right now how much of an advantage that fresher rubber is. It's probably 30, 40 laps fresher. We'll see how much difference it makes.
Choquette trying to barge through on the bottom and get past Kyle Grissom. Your Best Line Superior Lubricants running order with 110 laps to go tonight. Brian Hoare in 8th, Roderick in 9th, Harrison Burton 10th, Ron Young with all the laps he's missed being shown 11th. That's a tribute to perseverance right there. Up front, meantime, your leader continues to be Augie Grill in the 112. Bubba Pollard in the Jags.com Ford, the 26 running in second spot, the black and gold machine, and Pollard a little quicker there through the center of the corner.
Pollard's definitely able to keep up, and it looks like he could be a little bit faster now, but we've seen this little bit faster and trying to pass somebody.
Casey Roderick in the 7 car trying to make a move on the outside of Choquette, right in behind Kyle Grissom. Now remember, he was in that turn 3 wreck a few moments ago. They brought the 7 car to pit road. They had to square the front end back up as he goes 3 down the middle, splits the difference.
Yeah, once he got the front end there, he had to get everything else in there. I mean, the front end's already been bent up, and they obviously got it adjusted right. And, you know, sometimes you'll bend these things just a little bit, and they're good afterwards.
Well, Casey Roderick looks like he's plenty fast at the moment. Now, we showed you their pit stop a little earlier. They worked on the rear end of that car, put some spring rubbers in the left rear of that car.
Yeah, they put they've adjusted on the front end, the toe end. They put spring rubbers in it. they were gearing up, but Choquette's right there with him right now.
Choquette in the 29, the Adrian Carrier Chevrolet. Battling for position. They've gotten by Kyle Grissom in the 31. Harrison Burton in the 12 doing a nice job. Youngster, what, not even 16 yet, and just really, really fast. Jeff Burton's son, Freddie Query, in charge of that race car, a guy with plenty of knowledge of how super late model racing is conducted as they fight for position within the top 10. For 6th, Grissom and Spencer Davis. And the 12 with Harrison Burton right there as well. Not on the same lap at the moment, but just as quick as the 31.
Well, he's worried about the leader. He doesn't want to go another lap down. So we're all just racing all the time. We don't always think what's actually the smartest move right then. We just think about passing cars, and if someone's in front of you, you want to pass them. But he's doing a very good job.
No question about it. Harrison Burton shown 10th, not on the same lap as Grissom and the other contenders that are in this mix right now. Up front, it's still the 112 of Grill, the 26 of Pollard. And one thing we should point out, you see portions of the racetrack in our coverage here, only 12 cars left running out of the 26-car field. It's been a lot of attrition here, and we're not quite to the 200 lap mark.
Right, only 12, but only about 8 of them that are really good and under the right circumstances have the opportunity to win this race. Going back when I said about not thinking, you're just thinking about passing other cars. I've done this for a number of years, and I know a lot of other people have. Driven for a lot of people and have never been given an IQ test yet before I got hired.
Well, you have to be plenty smart to be good at this game, because we've touched on it here tonight. If you've never watched one of these events, if you've heard about stock car racing and wanted to check it out, Gresham Motorsports Park, a great place to come to do that. It appears simple on the surface. This is such a complex sport. You've got the drivers, the athletes, the crews that all have to be at the top of their games. Don't sell yourself short here, my friend. Knowing how to build these race cars is a science in and of itself.
I was mainly talking about some of them guys I race with. They're not real smart.
Harrison Burton in the 12 car. He is 10th right now, not on the lead lap. Jeff Choquette in the 29 is, and he is shown 5th as these two drivers try to maintain contact with the race leader, Augie Grill. Want to remind you that our friends at Victory Junction Camps presenting tonight's coverage of the World Crown 300. Victory Junction's mission is that every child, no matter their illness or disability, should enjoy normal childhood experiences. If you want to learn more or give to Victory Junction, which we highly recommend, go to victoryjunction.org or call them at 1-877-VJ4-CAMP, VJ4-CAMP. Harrison Burton on the bottom, Jeff Choquette on the high side. And Ken Schrader, you can learn a lot from a veteran like Choquette, can't you?
Oh, most definitely. But, you know, little Harrison has done an excellent job this year. I got to watch him down at New Smyrna in February. He's come a long way since then. He's watched a lot of people. He's watched one of the best there is his whole life, you know, his daddy. And he's getting it figured out quick.
Your Best Line Superior Lubricants running order, 90 to go tonight. Still Grill in the 112, Pollard in the 26. Hemrick is 3rd, Peltier 4th in the 26. There's Choquette in the 29. Then Spencer Davis in the 129. Hoare in the 37. Kyle Grissom, your pole sitter. Burton now up to 9th in the 12. Not on the lead lap, and Casey Roderick rounding out the top 10 in the 7. Now, they've had a couple of lengthy stops. They're not out of this thing. A couple of lucky dogs, and you can be right back in this.
The lucky dogs has made our racing so much different, but it's made it better because you just always putting cars back on the lead lap, one car. And it was done out of safety originally, is where it came up, so we weren't racing back to the yellows for that one spot.
And of course, it gives more drivers a chance to stay in contention over the course of a long event like this. It makes it more entertaining for fans. Burton in the 12 would like to get himself in position to collect the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap as he works to the inside of the 5th place car. Up front, meantime, no change. Grill in the 112 has been the dominant player tonight. Bubba Pollard's been pretty darn good, though, in that 26.
Yeah, apparently Bubba's made some adjustments to that car, and he's able to stay a lot closer to Grill than he was earlier. So, you know, he might have something at the end of the race now, and at the end of the race, we're in that last third, so it's coming.
And if you were talking to Augie Grill on the radio right now, and you've led almost all of the first 210 laps of this thing, would you be saying, hey, back it down a little bit at this point?
I would probably say whatever distance you've got right there, just try to maintain it. And if you can go faster, just hold it back, and if you need it, we'll use it. But right now, just kind of maintain.
And when you're running a groove or a groove and a half off the bottom like that, you're not binding the car up. You're not hurting that right front very much, are you?
Well, you're not hurting it as much. But when it's rolling and you're turning, you're hurting it, but you're not hurting it as much.
Stephen Nasse in the 51 trying to put some pressure on Preston Peltier. Last year's winner, the defending World Crown 300 champion in the 26. This is for position. And we've got a caution on the speedway. Caution for Jeff Choquette. And the Adrian Carriers 29, he has spun up at the top of turn 3. Looks like he scuffed the wall there.
Looks like he might have barely touched the wall there, but that could mess up the rear end just a little bit. Don't know what got him turned around. He'd been having a good race with Harrison Burton there, but he saw Harrison coming, wasn't real mad at him, so probably nothing bad.
Probably not. Choquette scored 5th, and we'll see if he's going to bring the Adrian Carriers car to pit road. They took tires not that long ago. We showed their pit stop to you just a few moments back. This could be an opportunity, though. Now you're inside 90 to go. So if you've got a set, maybe now's the time to throw them at the car.
I would think now would be a good time. I mean, it depends. With this few of cars on the lead lap, it's going to depend on what Grill does up there.
A lot of times it's follow the leader. A lot of times the lead lap cars will see what the leader decides to do and then do accordingly. Sometimes you'll roll the dice and go the opposite way and hope it works out in terms of track positions. We'll find out here momentarily. Looks like pit road will be open this time by. Grill in the 112, Pollard in the 26, your 2 lead cars. Pit road open, the green flag indicating that. And Augie Grill will bring that car around pit road under caution.
We need to watch here too, because last time that Augie Grill pitted, that's when he had the overheating problem too, when he sat there without the air coming in. So that could make a factor in this.
Grill in the 112, your leader. Pollard in the Ford, the 26, the Jags entry. In second spot, another Ford. Hemrick's 98, third. And then Peltier in the 26. Those cars in the top 4. Lenny Viticki, what about the leaders? What are they going to elect to do here?
Leaders work their way down pit road. Augie Grill hits his mark, and in comes Bubba Pollard. Pollard with a little bit of water. The crew on the right side. Hoosier tires coming off. One gets a little bit loose from Grill's crew. He's able to get it back around. Here on the left side, they've already got the lugs off the left front of Bubba Pollard. Back again at the rear of Pollard's car. That's where they were slow last time. Trying to get him down and away quickly. Watching the 112's crew. 112 works. Overheating again for Grill's car. They can't get him fired. He finally goes.
So maybe that overheating problem hasn't gone away for Augie Grill. Pollard first of this group off pit road. Daniel Hemrick even quicker. Hemrick will restart in second spot when we continue with the World Crown 300 from Gresham Motorsports Park. Back to Gresham Motorsports Park, Jefferson, Georgia. Cover to the World Crown 300 Super Late Model event, a Southern Super Series race presented by Victory Junction Camps. Green flag is back in the air as we close in on 75 laps to go now. Brian Hoare in the 37 elected to stay out for track position. Ken Schrader, doesn't look like that was a good choice.
Well, we see Grill coming up through the center there real quick. So no, I don't think it is. But he'll have a set of tires later, by not coming in and putting them on there.
Brian Hoare trying to hang on for dear life into a top 2, top 3 spot. Preston Peltier up in the gray in the middle of turn 2. Hopefully he kept it off the wall as we watch this battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And here's Grill to the bottom. Daniel Hemrick took the lead off that restart. And Grill now powering to 2nd spot.
Grill also wants to be...
Oh, trouble for Peltier. He got up in the wall big, and we can see that car dragging the right side as he comes to pit road.
It could have been a flat right front that put him up in by the wall. Grill wants to have some open track in front of him too to get some more air to that car, because a lot of times on a pit stop like that, you'll get them up hot enough and they'll spit out enough water that you cannot cool them back down.
Hemrick out in front of the 98 car. Here's Peltier's crew to work. They'll go to the right side and change tires. The defending World Crown 300 champion, his night not going the way he would like it to. He's been a top 5 car much of the night, has not yet contended for the lead. Grill, meantime, to the bottom over in turn 2. Wants the lead back from Hemrick.
And I think he's going to get it. We've just seen so strong all night. He gets down in there, he gets a little bit of position in the first part of the turn and was able to right clearing.
So Augie Grill wastes little time going back to the lead tonight here at Gresham Motorsports Park. Bubba Pollard settling into 3rd. We'll see if Hemrick can hang on to 3rd spot, but Grill just able to set sail off that pit stop.
Well, and prior to this last yellow, we saw Bubba able to keep up with Grill pretty good. So we'll see if Bubba's able to follow Grill up through there.
Top 3 starting to separate themselves. Best Line Superior Lubricants running order, top of your screen. Kyle Grissom now up into 4th. Brian Hoare slipping back to 5th. Then Harrison Burton trying to get back on the lead lap. Choquette, who got into the wall a few moments ago. Roderick up to 8th right now as Pollard works to the bottom and gets by Daniel Hemrick.
Yes, he was able to follow Grill up through there. So now we'll see how, when he's got clean air in front of him, we'll see how he stacks up against Grill now.
Bubba Pollard and that Jegs.com Ford doing a nice job. One of our local heroes here in Georgia, not far away from Jefferson. Daniel Hemrick out of North Carolina. Ron Young in the 15, still making laps out there. Doing a nice job considering the fact that he was damaged in the first handful of laps tonight in the World Crown 300. They were able to pit that car, remove the sheet metal, straighten him up, and send him back out. He is 40 or so laps behind, but the way things are going with all the attrition, he could be on his way to a top 10 finish tonight.
And we're not over yet.
Not at all.
We're not.
Long way to go to get this one done here at Gresham Motorsports Park. First time I've had the opportunity to be at one of these World Crown 300 events, and you can understand why this is such a prestigious race. Past winners including Dick Trickle, Darrell Waltrip. We talked about Freddie Query and Bobby Gill, guys with national reputations. Preston Peltier, the defending champion. To win this one, you've got to be superior all day long, not just in qualifying, but throughout 300 laps, 150 miles of racing. And tonight, everybody has been chasing the 112 of Augie Grill since the drop of the green.
Yeah, he has been the dominant car. Right now, he knows he's been good. He's been good all night. That's when.
Whoa! Augie Grill in trouble, gets up in the gray. Just as we talk about how dominant he's been, he slips up into the wall, and that gives Pollard and Hemrick an opportunity.
Did we just do that to him by talking about it like that?
Wow. Now Pollard in the 26 and Hemrick in the 98. They smell blood in the water here.
Yeah, but Pollard also has to think, do I want to, I mean, how do I want to play this? Has he got a problem, or did he just get a little high that race? Obviously, it doesn't look like he has a big problem because he's went back to running good, but not like he was. He's got a problem.
Looks like he'd have a tire down?
Oh, it could be a tire thing, or a thing could be spitting water on a tire.
Augie Grill gives up the lead for the first time since the early laps tonight. Other than pit stops, he's led all the way. Bubba Pollard taking over, and Daniel Hemrick now to the bottom. He wants second spot.
I think he must have a tire. Boy, no matter what you do all night, they don't pay to that last lap.
That's exactly right. You've got to complete all 300 laps. Augie Grill hanging on for dear life in the 112. He needs a caution. He doesn't want to be the caution.
No, he doesn't want to be the caution, and he almost was. So be curious to see. I mean, obviously it's not spitting water, I don't think.
Take another look at what happened. He was just too high on entry.
It looked like he got a little high and got a little bit free, and then it got the right rear up in the gray. But doesn't appear to be a huge problem, although he has, well, he's loose. His car's loose.
And you talked earlier about broken track bars, shock mounts. There are so many things that can go wrong under these race cars. Doesn't look like the car's down anywhere on the four corners.
No, it's just not. He's obviously got something that's giving him some trouble, but it's not a huge mechanical issue, I don't believe.
It was a great save. When you get up in the gray like that with all the rubber marbles that are up there at this time in a race, past 200 laps, to keep it off the wall as he did, pretty impressive.
Well, where he really did good, too, is a lot of times the guys will steer into the slide, and they'll do good all the way up to when they get to the wall. Then when they get to the wall, they don't have the wheels cut back to the left, so when it hits with the rear, he's coming down pit road.
Well, we'll see what Augie Grill does. He goes by the entrance to pit road this time, but evidently he's figured enough's enough. I'm way off the pace. I need to get down low and try to figure out what I can do here.
Yeah, I don't know if he didn't come in because of the Harrison car there, Harrison Burton's, but he'd be looking for it this time. But he's got a big enough problem that he's not hustling around like he would be.
Wow. Wonder what has happened to the 112 of Augie Grill. Clearly off the pace and out of the lead, and it appears to have ended his chances at victory tonight in the World Crown 300 as he comes to pit road. Less than 60 to go. Our longtime leader, Augie Grill, is out of the race. Here's Lenny.
Augie Grill is so concerned about his motor, he was looking at his gauges, missed the turn completely. That was the call he made back to his crew from the radio, apologizing to them.
What the engines cost on these cars, $15,000 is not going to replace it. So that was a good call.
So protecting the engine's one thing, but with that light contact, it makes me wonder, did he knock something loose in the rear end? You commented on how loose the race car was after he got up in the wall.
Well, you lose your rhythm and everything, and you got dirt on the tires from being up there, and it probably that gauge wasn't getting any better as far as temperature gauge, so it was just time to abort.
So that changes the complexion of this one completely as we get inside 50 laps to go. Hemrick in the 98 car runs in second spot, chasing Bubba Pollard in the Jegs Ford, the 26B. Pollard out of Georgia. He's run this race a long time, has not yet been to victory lane. Maybe this will be his night.
Well, he's hoping, but he also just watched Grill have the same advantage over him that he's got on everybody else and it go away from him.
And it shows you what 300 laps can be like in one of these super late models. It is an endurance contest. You've got to be fast, but you got to get to the finish.
Oh, most definitely. And that's where these long distance races, you really see the cream rise to the top because they are hard to win.
And some cream remains on the racetrack. Casey Roderick in 6th, not on the same lap as Brian Hoare there in the 37, who is being scored 4th. But Roderick, since the incident, the contact with the wall, the work the team did first on the rear end of the car and then just to straighten up the front end, he's become pretty quick out there.
Yeah, he's got his car working good. Long race. Now we're running out of laps, but anything can happen still.
Coming up on 40 laps to go tonight here at Gresham Motorsports Park in the World Crown 300, presented by Victory Junction. It's been a wild night, no question about it. The 54 car making laps. He is still out there as well, shown back in the 9th position. That's young Matt Craig in the CNC Boilers Chevrolet. Started 19th to come to 9th. Not bad at all. A lot of that due to the attrition. But, trouble for Brian Hoare in the 37. Up the racetrack and into the wall. Clearly something broke on that race car. Look at all the sparks.
Oh, most definitely. It dropped down, whatever it is. It dropped down before he got to the apex turn 1 and straight into the wall.
So coming up to put 260 laps on the board tonight for Brian Hoare and the RPM Engines entry. Take a look as he arrows down into turn 1.
It could be something just like a tire. It could just been a pop tire. It's hard to say.
Didn't look like he had any brakes to speak of either because the car went up on 2 wheels there. Hit hard enough.
Yeah, it doesn't. Even when you hit the brakes, when the right front's down like that, you're going in hard.
Brian's okay out of the race car, adjusting his uniform there with a ball cap on, but not the way he wanted his night to end here at Gresham. Welcome back to Gresham Motorsports Park in Jefferson, Georgia. Coverage of the World Crown 300 presented by Victory Junction Camps, 31st annual World Crown 300 for super late models of the Southern Super Series. Alongside Ken Schrader, I'm Rick Benjamin. Lenny Viticki down on pit road for us. About 40 laps to settle this one, Mr. Schrader, with Pollard in the 26, Hemrick in the 98, pole sitter Grissom in the 31, and Harrison Burton your first 4.
Anybody in that group can win now. I mean, we've got it whittled down to the ones that have survived to this point.
It has been a case of survival of the fittest tonight. And don't forget about Casey Roderick in the 7. That might be the fastest car on the racetrack right now.
Well, he's had more opportunities to adjust than anybody else.
That's for sure, and they've worked on both ends of that race car. Pollard, meantime, has been good all night long in the 26. The Jegs entry, he is your leader. Hemrick is 2nd. Grissom is 3rd. Then you've got Harrison Burton, who's gotten his lap back, and he is 4th in the 12, and they're pretty quick.
Yeah, they've been real quick, and you think about the experience here. Harrison being so young, but then having Freddie Query as your crew chief. I mean, you average their ages out. They're still middle-aged.
So yeah, there's probably an average age there of 30 or something like that, 35 maybe if you figure it all out. For 3rd spot, Kyle Grissom, Harrison Burton, and don't forget about Casey Roderick in the 7 car. We talked about how they worked on both ends of that race car. He's been good, and now he's really good and sitting there in the top 5. But up front, Bubba Pollard's starting to stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah, Bubba's getting away just a little bit, but I tell you what, I think Roderick's actually just needs a little bit of a hole here because I think he's faster than both these guys.
It's hard to pass at a place like this. Even as wide and as fast and as wonderful a racetrack as this is, it's hard to drive around somebody.
Well, the track's really good, except when you have 2 cars that are real close to the same speed, there's just still one fastest way around. Boy, we see Harrison really doing a good job fighting that loose car, trying to get underneath Kyle there and holding on to it real good.
Kyle Grissom in the 31, Harrison Burton in the 12, side by side for 3rd. Casey Roderick just back there watching in the red 7. He runs 5th as the laps wind down here at Gresham.
It's amazing, even though it's that many laps, how quick it goes by.
Sure. Well, qualifying speeds here, you're qualifying at around 16.5 seconds, give or take. Race pace probably around 17.5 at this point.
Yep.
Pretty rapid around a half-mile racetrack. Side by side, continuing to be the way 3rd place is being contested here at Gresham Motorsports Park. Burton on the bottom in the black 12. Grissom up top in the black 31. Saw Dad Steve Grissom earlier tonight, 2-time NASCAR Busch Series, now Nationwide Series champion. Oversees things for son Kyle's racing efforts. Running order, top of your screen from our friends at Best Line Superior Lubricants. Take a look at the 7 cars that remain in contention. Jeff Choquette is 6th. Ron Young, 40-some laps down, is 7th. Those are the only cars left in the battle here as we get close to the last 25 laps tonight at Gresham.
Right now, other than Ron Young, I wouldn't be surprised if any of those cars won.
Anything's possible. I think Jeff Choquette may not be on the lead lap at this moment, but he could get a lucky dog here before we're done and get right back in it.
Yeah, he's going to have a little help to get around everybody else too. But boy, we've seen some twists and turns in this race so far.
As wild as it's been tonight, you almost think anything could still happen here, as Pollard is, I'm sure, looking in the mirror thinking, please don't let anything else go wrong tonight. Let me just salt this one away.
Yeah, and we don't need any yellows, he's thinking. My car's good. I'm able to maintain a good lead. Let's just wind this thing down.
Grissom is 3rd. Burton has settled back into 4th in the 12. Roderick is 5th in the 7 car. And you've got Choquette and Ron Young 40-some laps down in 7th position. And that's now the situation for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It was a tightly bunched group for a while. Now they've separated back out again.
Yeah, Kyle was able to get away from him a little bit. Kyle Grissom was. And the 7 Reddick's dropped back off those two just a little bit. Hemrick, though, he's lost a little bit of ground there, but he's not letting him get out of sight.
I want to thank once more our friends at Victory Junction Camps, our presenting sponsor tonight for the coverage of the World Crown 300. Victory Junction's mission is that every child, no matter their illness or disability, should enjoy normal childhood experiences. If you'd like to learn more about or donate to Victory Junction, visit victoryjunction.org or call 1-877-VJ4-CAMP, VJ4CAMP. Jump on board with a very worthwhile organization, Victory Junction Camps. Kyle Petty and the Petty family, of course, started that in memory of Adam Petty years ago, and a very worthwhile organization to throw your support behind. Meantime, hearing word that the leader may have a problem, some sparks under the 26, Letty.
Pollard reporting into his crew that he's got a tire going down on the left side. Not only reporting it, but reporting it totally dejected groan.
Tire issues for some contenders tonight, Ken Schrader. Pollard trying to hang on, but when you see all those sparks, he's really dragging something.
Yeah, and now he's got a way out. Okay, you don't want to come in under the green, but if it's going to blow out and I'm going to get in the fence, we're giving up the lead now. I mean, he's lost a lot of speed. He's going to have to make a decision here pretty quick.
Bubba Pollard trying to hang on against Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick takes over in 3 and 4. As we get well inside 20 laps to go, Pollard trying to hang on, see if he can finish this one and at least bag a top 5.
Yeah, the only thing that could possibly help him here, you gain so much air pressure as these tires run, but obviously it's losing it a little faster than he can make it up. Sometimes you can get a leak in one that will go down after the race, but while you were running under green conditions, you were able to maintain. It's not getting terrible yet, but he knows it's going down by how much more the car's dragging it. I would say it's the left front.
You see all those sparks, and you see him having trouble holding the car down at the bottom, especially in 3 and 4. We saw those sparks a few laps ago. Obviously, the lack of tire pressure causing one part of the chassis, maybe a cross member, to drag or something.
Yeah, it's something really important and pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Pretty solid material that's dragging.
No question about that. So Bubba Pollard off the pace, took over the race lead when Augie Grill had problems. And now Pollard with problems as we get down to the last 15 laps tonight of the World Crown 300. Hemrick has opened up 8 or 9 car lengths over the 26 of Pollard. So Daniel Hemrick now thinking, okay, I came here to win this race tonight, and everything has fallen my way, and we're almost there.
I don't know.
Almost there.
Almost there. Yeah, Bubba's thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And we get a yellow now. We don't know yet, but Bubba, there's a good chance we could get a yellow, but it would probably be Bubba.
Daniel Hemrick all by himself in the 98H out of North Carolina. Hemrick able to move that car nicely to the bottom. He's been quick all night, has not been a dominant car by any means, just took the lead for the first time a moment ago. But you want to lead at the end. They don't pay much for leading the first 5 laps. It's
no,
the
they
last
don't.
5 that you count.
You can even lead up to 290.
And have everything turn the other way.
Yes, and now we're seeing Bubba going to lose second place to Kyle Grissom and Harrison Burton right behind him.
Looks that way. Bubba Pollard trying to hang on for dear life in the waning laps tonight of the World Crown 300. Kyle Grissom able to go by him on the outside and take second spot away. And here comes Harrison Burton in the Dex Imaging 12 car. And Casey Roderick back there in the 7 as well.
Yeah, this is
Pollard right up the racetrack and into the wall.
It must have been a right front.
Nice job by Harrison Burton to turn down inside the 26 and avoid getting caught up in that.
If we were a half lap earlier, Harrison started to go around him on the outside off turn 4 and then went underneath him. And I bet you Daddy was on the radio saying, hey, you need to be on the inside of the car that has potential tire problem.
Bubba Pollard drops the window net. You can see him with the gloved hand there. Here's another look at what happened going into 1. He never made the turn.
No, it right front tire went soft. I would say.
We knew that Pollard had a tire problem, and unfortunately, with 10 laps to go, it gives up and sends the Jegs.com Ford up into the turn 1 wall, turn 2 wall here at Gresham hard, and brings out another caution. So Daniel Hemric will be our restart leader. Let's grab one more break, and we'll come right back to the World Crown 300. Welcome back to Gresham Motorsports Park, Jefferson, Georgia. The World Crown 300 presented by Victory Junction Camps. I'm Rick Benjamin, Ken Schrader alongside Lenny Batycki on pit road. 10 laps to settle it tonight. Kyle Grissom has to start on the bottom. He was the pole sitter. Daniel Hemric, the race leader, chooses the outside. Burton, Roderick, and Choquette are in this one, Ken Schrader. What do you think?
If you're rolling right now, you're in this one. But, I mean, 10-lap shootout. We just got to wait and see. This is where you can get a little more aggressive. Like I think I just said about, there might have been a little still some contact there as Kyle was trying to scrape the 98 off.
Kyle Grissom in the 31, Hemric in the 98. Hemric had taken over the lead after Pollard's tire failure, and now Kyle Grissom really giving it to him down into turn 1, trying to take the top spot back.
Well, 8 tires are a lot better than 4 when you go down in turn, but look at that. It has allowed the 7 car to get right up there.
Casey Roderick, who hit the wall earlier. They worked heavily on that race car, changed the back end around on a long pit stop, then had to square up the front end after the wreck. And Roderick right there, 3 wide in turn 1 for the lead. Hemric gets bumped, and he goes up the racetrack, and Kyle Grissom takes over.
Well, the thing is that 7 car watched how this is working. He's next in line to try to do the same.
And Harrison Burton trying to get through on the bottom and take over 3rd spot again.
Man, it's just amazing that it comes down to this. What good racing.
Daniel Hemric just has to be heartsick about this. Takes over the lead after Pollard has a problem, thinks he's headed to the house. Pollard gets into the wall, brings out a yellow. That bunches him up, and he gives up the top spot.
Well, but what he's also got to remember is there was 2 cars that had a problem for him to get in that position in the first place. So we'll just have to see. It's not over.
Kyle Grissom is your leader. Inside 10 laps to go tonight here at Gresham Motorsports Park. Casey Roderick with new life in that 7 car says, hey, this one really isn't over yet. I've got a shot here.
We're not worried about saving anything now, and it doesn't have to be pretty. We can slide this thing around. We can do whatever. We just got to make lap times as quick as we can.
Daniel Hemric coming back at the 7 car. He says, hey, if I can't win it, I certainly would like to have 2nd spot tonight. Hemric not giving up by any means. Neither is Harrison Burton in 4th. What a story it would be if Harrison Burton somehow could end up in victory lane here tonight. Anything can happen, as we've seen here at Gresham.
Oh, I tell you what, this 7 car is he's going to get antsy here in just a little bit.
Casey Roderick with the Ford Fusion. Kyle Grissom with the Chevrolet, the 31 car. Hemric with the Ford in the 98. A couple of the big brands in the sport in the top 3 positions. Down into turn 3 here at Gresham Motorsports Park. Here comes Hemric taking a look at the bottom. 2 laps to go, 2 to go for your race leader. Kyle Grissom in the 31. Oh, and Hemric up the racetrack and just saves it.
Good save, and it only cost him 1 spot.
Man, looked like he was headed for the concrete.
Yeah, well, it's not over yet.
White flag will be in the air this time by Grissom is your leader. 1 to go, less than 1 lap to go. And here comes Roderick in the 7. Does he have anything for Grissom? Grissom having a hard time holding the 31 down. Roderick right up underneath him as they hit turn 3.
Grissom got...
Oh! Roderick jacks him up a little bit. Roderick to the bottom. Takes the lead in turn 4. Coming to the checker. Casey Roderick wins. What a finish.
Wow. You know... Oh, yeah.
And Hemric turns Grissom around as a little bit of a thank you after the checkered flag. Wow.
How would you keep track of who you want to hit there? You want to spin everybody around.
Well, let's take another look at what happened earlier, several laps ago, and see if we can get an indication of what the problem was between the 98, Daniel Hemric's machine, and the 31 of Kyle Grissom. This is down into turn 1 when they were 3 wide, Kenny.
Well, Hemric looked at a hole on the inside, and the 7 car got into him, Kyle did turn down, but he saw the opportunity to turn down there. I don't see where he has any problem with Kyle.
Daniel Hemrick unhappy turning Kyle Grissom after the checkered flag. But how about Casey Roderick coming back from a series of issues tonight? They worked on the car and got it right. He's your winner, and we'll talk to him when we continue at Gresham. Our coverage today is being brought to you by Replay XD. Check out the all-new 1080 mini camera at replayxd.com. And by Racing Electronics, your #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. RacingElectronics.com.
Casey Roderick coming out of the car. You'll get the crowd in a minute. You've got this. How did that crew be able to put the car back together in the race and you end up right here as the World Crown winner?
That proves you can't give up, man. I've been struggling with this car every week. As you can see out there, I was on ice the whole race. And we never gave up, man. I've been working and working on this thing. I got a lot of people to thank. First of all, Graham Trucking for letting me come on board and being their driver. I hope I can stay a while and get my career back going. But I want to thank the West Virginia Miners for helping us out also. All my crew, we got a bunch of volunteers here. And
as a driver from Georgia to win the World Crown here at Gresham, how special a moment is this?
Oh, it's very special. To come to your home track and get the biggest win of the year here, it means a lot. And I never would have thought I'd be a World Crown 300 winner. But I want to thank Jim Barfield coming on board for the race and calling the shots. Unfortunate for TJ Reed, he wasn't able to race, so Jimbo came and helped me out. But I really appreciate everybody helping me out. So thanks to Frankie and Augie Grill, they helped out a lot. But man, this is awesome.
Casey Roderick, you're the 2014 Gresham Motorsports Park World Crown Champion.
Yeah, baby! Woo!
A lot of emotion in victory lane for Casey Roderick, who we thought midway Ken Schrader didn't have much of a chance tonight as we take a look at your Cometic gasket. Final scoring rundown. Cometic Gasket, a leading supplier of stock and custom gaskets for the original equipment, high performance in motorsports industries since 1989. Casey Roderick, your winner. Grissom, Burton, Hemrick, and Choquette, the top 5. Bubba Pollard does get credit for 6th.
Yeah, you know, that's just a prime example of overcoming adversity and not giving up, because he was a long way back and sure didn't look like he was a contender.
Landon Kling, Alan Carnes, Rodney Benfield among those drivers. Of course, Spencer Waters and Dennis Schoenfeld out early tonight here at Gresham. Let's talk to the runner-up.
Kyle Grissom, the last 10 laps, you led and then it got away.
Yeah, we were going to cruise to a second place finish there, and was going to be pretty happy with that behind Daniel after Bubba broke something and we had that caution. And I didn't have anything on the bottom, so I knew when that restart happened, I kind of had to use Daniel up a little bit, and I was going to rub on him, but I drove into turn 1 a little bit too hard there and washed up more than I wanted to, and kind of used him up more than I should have. So, I kind of regret that. But then again, I was racing for the win and thought we had it, and just come down the last lap there, and the 7 was close enough that he could make a last lap dive at me, and he was able to get me. So,
if you could have one more thing in the car those last laps, what would you have done?
I think that last lap, I didn't quite get off 2 as good as I should have, and the 7 car got a pretty good run off of 2, so that allowed him to get to me getting into 3. So, I hit my marks pretty good all the way up until maybe that last lap, and just kind of missed him a little bit.
Got to be frustrating, Ken Schrader, when you know you've got one in your hands and you can't close the deal.
Well, and it's really frustrating when you know that you cost yourself when you didn't get off 2, but I sure like the way he handled himself in his interview.
A wild night of action, and we congratulate a young winner. Casey Roderick takes home the 31st annual World Crown 300. I'm Rick Benjamin. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.